word as any.
I was thinking more of pinpoint some rules, but I couldn't really think of one.
No. Just try to relax. Remember, nobody's watching this. No one's judging you. This is a pure exercise of, well, self-discovery in a way. Hopefully you'll see something in this. Are we live already? Oh, there you are. Well, we're just telling. We have Ethan for a portrait today, so I was just going over what he could probably get out of it. Basically, lowering expectations is the first thing I do before I paint a portrait. Yeah, you can hopefully see something in yourself that, in the portrait that you recognise in yourself that maybe you wouldn't have thought about too much, or wouldn't have thought of being at the forefront of your personality or how you present yourself to the world.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Graham back this week, which is why everything's starting on time and is all super organised. We'll see how long it lasts before something decides to break.
Hopefully it's not me.
No, I don't think you'll break either.
No. Indestructible.
All right. My perfunctory palette cleaning. I've tried not to start too early. The interesting thing with portraits is often just getting to know a face and a pose and how someone naturally sits. As we've been discussing earlier, sometimes you don't find that out because once someone knows they're being looked at, the idea of sitting naturally goes out the window completely. It's no longer a possibility. But things will settle down after a while, and your self-conscious posing will disappear. I think we're probably okay.
Hopefully.
Just retrieving a few bits of paint. I think I do want to clean a palette, so yeah. So the beginning of this isn't about portrait painting at all, but about palette maintenance. I use a few different palettes. This is a sort of a general purpose demonstrating one, and as a result I might not use it for a week, and then after I haven't used it for a week, some of the paint has formed a skin. But I did use this not long ago, so actually this should be okay. And then but there's good paint under there and you can retrieve it, so you sort of break the skin, pull the good paint out the inside, try to avoid creating any lumps in the process. Some artists don't mind the lumps. I dislike them. I'm distracting. And then you've got this sort of nice clean paint. The other thing is after a while, you end up with paint that's sort of started to cure, so it gets thicker and stickier, and that can be really useful paint to have. We're very spoiled these days, artists getting paint straight out of a tube, already ground up and mixed with oil and ready, kind of, yeah, almost ready to use. And it seems to be a sort of a thing that, you want this sort of buttery consistency out the tube, but if you want that paint to be thicker or stickier, you don't have an awful lot of option. So I do the same thing I do with oil, which is let it stand. Rather than buying stand oil, I buy normal oil, and I have various levels of it standing. So various ages of oil that's already been in the pot, and it gets thicker at different rates. And so you've got the very thick, and all the way back to the normal, how it comes out the bottle. So yes, I was doing a little bit of measuring earlier, and from where I am, I can get a hand shape. I can put that on its end, and I get. So yeah, so I've got a few ways of dividing this up. I can think about where they go. If I have a hand there, measure that again, and then another one.
Back to portraits again.
Yeah. If I turn that on its end, take that sort of distance, and then again, interesting. If I do this proper arm's length. Yeah, okay, got a hand there. I turn that at its end. Make a square. There's going to be a shoulder somewhere along here. There's going to be a head angle somewhere up here. Yeah, about that same distance again. Somewhere up here is the top of a head. That's where the head's going to fit in. What about widthways? About the same widthways. So his head will fit into that shape with that picture above it. I want the bottom of that picture above. That could work. So I've got a rough sort of framework as to where things go. And now I can kind of, hang on. Doing a bit of measuring to begin with. Something around there. So I'm sort of half looking at shapes, half trying to sort of identify that feels really off. Identify actual sort of understandable things like face shapes and that kind of thing. Probably do with using a slightly slightly bigger brush here. That's that shape. See that? I feel, right, because I'm quite close to where Ethan's sitting, his hand is disproportionately larger than his head, because it's almost as far away again to his head. So, but of course my brain makes sense of that, and because it understands that there's a distance, it doesn't think he has an enormous hand or a tiny head.
Mm-hmm. Do have a tiny head.
Well, that's not going to help, is it?
Someone I used to work for, we used to live there, and he knew it. He had a very tiny head.
I never knew you were such a bully, Graham.
Oh, no, he was the one that kind of introduced himself. So my name and Penna.
I think we.
Oh, see, there's something really tragic about a person who wants to be accepted enough that they just kind of accept whatever nickname is given to them.
think my dad might have called me a pinhead once or twice.
Well, I'm remembering,
He called his mum the same thing, so
what was it? So I Married an Axe Murderer with Michael Myers.
Mm-hmm.
And he played his own Scottish father, who refers to his younger brother, who has a very large head, as he. And yeah. Okay, sort of finding my way to a few telltale shapes. And this is sort of my practice drawing, which I could have done on a separate bit of paper. I'm trying to make sense of it along with sort of now it's all together, although my brain was really quite confused as to what was what. It seems to be kind of making sense now. Oh, probably, I quite like this compositionally to be in that place on the canvas. I'm going to move the picture over, but it will be the same picture. Yeah, probably about there. Back of the sofa pointing upwards. And you know what, that back of the head is going to be further back. That's what this is really telling me. Which means that almost in the right place. Rub some of that out so it doesn't distract me. There we are. Now, if you're watching in secret, do come out of the woodwork and send us a message, or give Graham something to do. He gets quite bored and lonely. His hand's moving now, but that's okay. Looking at some relation. This dark shape here is that's going to be really useful as a thing to sort of pin other shapes to. Including this. It's the back of a hand there. Okay, now I'm starting to sort of find some lines, but there are a few shapes I'm definitely going to want to be able to see. So now the question is, how much more do I do like this and allow to show through, and how much do I turn it into a kind of finished painting, as it were? Shadow there, I'll put that into. Let's see what it would be. The board runs out, but that's okay. That's all that's going on there.
With all these sort of tiny amount of lines that you've got going on, it's eaten already.
Good. Right, a lot of that's down to the head shape
Distinctive.
we were discussing. Well, it's your hair and your nose and eye. There's a shadow of your nose and eye. It gives away. We've all got.
I have quite an aggressive, I would say, skull shape.
I know.
Quite a heavy brow bone.
Well, you've got a heavy brow, but it's made up for by your girlish chin.
Oh, thank you.
No, I mean it in a nice way.
It's all about balance.
Absolutely. Okay. I've only got some small brushes here. I could do with a bigger brush, but actually good. Is that going to agree with the back of the sofa? Actually, it will. I've got this vanishing point turning up now. Yeah, put that in there like that. That will help. That, right, okay, I'm fussing now. Extra bit of shadow on there. Cool. Right. I think I'm going to do most of this with a small brush. My little dark area is gone, but I can remember where it was. I can see where it goes. So I'll hold fire on that. I wouldn't feel the need to put that back in directly. I'm going to mix it's quite a warm shadow colour. So I'm going to start off with some burnt sienna and unbleached titanium. And this can make a bit of a theme for the whole picture. Put a bit of yellow ochre in there.
We're doing lots of palette stuff.
Yeah, well, for a minute.
Palette and subject or palette and canvas?
Palette and subject would be good, yeah. Really? Thank you, Graham.
Get good at this.
Yeah. So I want to see a tonal jump. I'm going to get a bit of titanium white here. I'll get a bit of this colour, and when I put white in it, I can really see what it looks like. And that it's going to have a bit more yellow in it. I'm using yellow ochre at the moment. I'm not going anywhere near the cadmium yellow. But it's nice to know I have it in reserve. That's plenty of colour in that. There's going to be lots of variations of it, but as a starting point, that's going to be pretty good. Shadow colour. Still not 100% on this. I'm going to put a little bit of alizarin in it. Probably have to make a few little varieties of this one. Yeah, that'll do. Have that red underneath. I'm looking at a tonal change here. I'm imagining a black. I'll make a black while I'm here. I kind of had one before. It's nearly time to put my gloves on before the mess truly begins. Okay. Burnt sienna and blue. I'm liking burnt sienna. I didn't used to use it very much at all. It's a good way of controlling how warm something gets. Using burnt umber and you're mixing a black, making it warmer. I don't know, this feels a bit more natural to do it this way. So there's a jump from here to here, and from here to here, and then the last jump would be to the bright light glove on there. Well, I've got that knife. Let's make a darker shadow just in case we need it. So the bright light of the wall, this is more about making an ambient sort of temperature colour to begin with. So I'm going to use a little bit of cad yellow, a bit of cad red, keep it really clean. Now I'm not going to use this colour directly anywhere, but this is the sort of, that's the light colour which I'm going to keep warm. There's a second light colour which is a bit less stark, so I'll use the yellow ochre, a bit of red in that, a bit more orange. There we go. And for the shadow, or the other side of the face, that can be a light colour. Have I got that jump from there to there? Let's have a bit of unbleached titanium. I haven't got any mixing white on the palette at the moment. I don't think I'm going to need it for this one. I might get the lead out in a while. The lead white, that is. Yeah, that's pretty good. The cat's back. Hello. He doesn't like it when I move things.
Yeah,
He objects to change.
don't blame him.
You should get him his own camera
Yeah.
so he can be centre stage when he comes in.
It's a theme song as well.
It's a theme song. That's a good idea. Yeah, and the studio audience to clap. When he
Yeah.
comes in, looks around in a rather disgusted way, and then
Yeah.
he leaves again without saying anything. That'd be a sitcom character that everybody needs in their life. Isn't it?
I'll play something on the flute.
Yes. That was great. For those that don't know, if you look up Beanshot on Instagram, you'll see their advert for their Christmas opening hour, which I think is something you started, isn't it, Gray?
Yeah,
Sure.
so it was Alex's idea.
Oh, right, okay. Oh. So yeah, rather nice thing to have.
Is it the same again this year? 8:30 till 9:30.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's the idea.
8:30 till 9:30, Christmas Day.
They've made a rather nice advert, which is based on the Titanic film, isn't it?
Yeah.
Features Ethan pretending to play the flute.
I had a minor part.
That classic Christmas film.
Yeah. I would have played the flute for real if I was allowed, but no, I was banned. Banned from learning it in 2 days.
Well, they were always going to dub the sort of the terrible recorder version
Yeah.
at the top, weren't they? So,
Yeah, my version would have been far better.
yeah. But I think that would have been worse if you bothered to learn it and then they
Then they dubbed the terrible version of
it
the song.
sounded like it was done really badly.
Yeah. Should have learned it on the recorder.
Yeah, I did have a look for my recorder after it was mentioned, but
I think the recorder deserves more respect.
yeah, I disagree.
Really?
No, I think it's no. If any instrument deserves respect if someone's playing it well, and there are people who play the recorder really well and they make wonderful music on it. I don't think it should be the first instrument we give to children.
No, certainly not.
Children.
No, exactly. It's just like, well, give them ukuleles. You can't make a
Yeah.
bad sound with a ukulele,
Don't-
and they're fun to play.
Don't give them a violin.
Yeah,
I just think you remember that happening in primary school and it was terrible.
Yeah, give them a ukulele, and then some of them will learn to play it. Some of them will mime to guitar solos.
Yeah,
Some of them will imagine it's a tennis racket.
yeah.
It's all fairly harmless.
Some of them all three, depending on the mood.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Now I've got some of these darks with shapes in. Keeping it really simple at the moment. I'll move across to this orange and make an orange version of that colour, just with a brush mix at the moment, just to see what it does. It's too light. Right here. Right, there's some shapes here which I'm getting caught up in details, and I need to not get caught up in detail. Mouth will appear later. Get a second brush on the go. So I'm using older, stiffer brushes at this stage, and they're not drying them properly. That helps, doesn't it? A bit of variation in the amount of light and shade in different places. It's going to be very subtle at this stage. Yeah, that orange wasn't dark enough. I can go to a lighter colour now. Go to this paler one I mixed. And again, I'm just thinking about shapes. I'm not thinking about how well I'm describing what's going on. I'm not even thinking about changes in colour or tone, or even a distinction between a cheek and a nose.
Are there particular things that you would work on first for a face?
Well, there's lots of different, there's no right or wrong way of doing it. So I would keep my options open depending on sort of what seems to make the most difference. There's sometimes an inside out approach is really effective. So if you've got something that's like, depending on the lighting and the angle and what you can see, sometimes there's a dominant feature which is really significant and impossible to ignore. Right, okay, at this point I'm rather forgetting about hands. I've got this light colour on. Maybe I should go back to the dark colour before I do this. I think I should. Yeah, so there's this, what would you call it? You moved your hands. I said hands and you... Is that how they were before? Okay, I'll shut up then. It's not how they were.
It's pretty bang on.
It's all right. You're not here as a professional model. You're allowed to mess everything up and challenge me.
My bad.
No, you haven't moved your elbow. That's the important thing.
The elbow stayed
Appreciate
solid.
that.
I can't feel my hands anymore, so I don't know if they've
Oh
moved.
no. Okay, well you can have a little wiggle. Just remember where your elbow is.
I'm not going to move the elbow. The elbow stays solid.
Okay, we can put down bits of tape if it helps, just to get you back in the same position.
My hands always end up cold. It's a quirk of me.
Right, so get darks down first because the lights are going to go on top. There we go. Really simple shapes. Wherever there's darks, I can just sort of smudge them in. I'm not trying to do complete lines or anything. Let's get the general shapes where they go. And then when the lights go on top, hopefully it will make sense of them. I could go back in with a few other warms to begin with. Juts forward. Comes out of there. does the same now. I can think of the knuckles now. The knuckles have got a different coloured light on them, but I'm not worrying about that just yet. These two share an area of light until they sort of separate. I haven't got a background colour on yet either, so I'm not going to need that just yet. Okay, that's good. And this one leans back a little bit. So it goes there. And this one forward. Now there's a sort of second colour here, which is kind of grayer, but not much darker. Let's see how that looks. Ah. Go back to the bright one. There you are. That's a kind of a grounding for the hands and the head.
It's good.
Start, isn't it? Oh, a little relaxed now. I'm gonna go back in with some of these darks, and warm darks at the moment, so I can put some of that in here. I'll pop a little bit in there. Put a bit in for where the hair's going to go. Ringlets. Charles the First. Or one of them, I don't know anything about history. So. Like a Frenchman called Charles from ages ago. There you go.
Probably still Charles the First.
It'll do, won't it? Yeah, I do have a bit of a habit of thinking out loud, which can make me seem more confident than I really am. But really, I'm just sort of fiddling with stuff, playing with it in my mind. But when it comes to history, there isn't, and I'm very aware of my ignorance. Partly thanks to my sister, who is a historian. It's that thing. Once someone's really good at something, it looks from the outside like they know absolutely everything about it. If I asked my sister a question and she was stumped, or didn't say, sometimes she'll go, I don't really know, and then she'll list off like 90% of the information that she knows about, and then go, but other than that, it's not really my area, kind of thing.
That is the sort of like classic historian, though, isn't it? Is that, well, I can give you a lot of sort of basic background, but the finite, minutest details it might struggle with.
Yeah, but she never says, no, never heard of that, or when was that, or was that something to do with whatever. It's sort of, she's already on it. It's kind of interesting.
Must be an incredibly niche fact somewhere.
Well,
if
thing
one
is,
goes digging.
But there's a point where people seem to know all of the what do you call it? I don't think there's many periods of history, even kind of what they call prehistory, that you can't kind of place on a timeline and understand the structures and what emerged from them and all the rest of it. Which I guess most historians would go, yeah, that's what it is. That's the kind of thing you need to know. But when you don't know it, it's so bewildering. It's so unimaginably large as a subject matter. So I can't even remember French kings, let alone
I can't do English, so
what order they came in. Or English ones, yeah. Who was the first king of England? Here's a fun one. Do you know that, Graham?
Isn't that Ethelstein?
Yeah, with that AE at the
Yeah.
beginning. Yeah. I can remember when that question came up. I think it was popular for a while. I think it became a little bit viral for a bit because once people realised that that question was being asked, they all realised they didn't really know, and that there's sort of some people would say, "Oh, was it Alfred?" But Alfred the Great or whatever, and then you realise they've sort of stumbled over thousands of years into this sort of constitutional monarchy set up through all of these sort of various accidents.
But there were lots of kings of different
Yeah.
areas, wasn't there?
Yeah,
There
exactly.
was the king of Wessex. There was the king of I can't remember.
Northumbria and
Yes.
yeah.
But yeah, King Ethel. Is it Ethelstan?
Athelstan, that's what I'm hearing in my head. But like I said, I don't know anything about it.
He was the first one of all of them.
Yeah, but was he widely recognised, or was it, is that just sort of posthumously we say that, but at the time there was still quite a lot of argument about it and head chopping going on.
Yeah, it took a while. I went to one of the chats about the sort of first king of England in the Abbey, and there was a lot of talk about Ethelstan, Ethelstein, Ethelbert, and they were all from the same family. And it
Right.
just got really quite confusing. But there was lots of talk of certain kings, certain kings that were from the different jurisdictions at the time, different areas, and nobody really knew when they were amalgamated as one. Ethel something. That's where
one of the Ethels.
One of the many Ethels. Yeah, maybe that's why it's a popular name now. Anyway, how did we get onto that?
Right.
Yes.
I think I'm the lowest in history knowledge here, probably.
I don't know. I think we could. I reckon.
I was the worst in my entire school.
I think if we
It's
had
quite
to put money on
impressive.
it, on who knows the least. Yeah, I'd bet on you or Graham. I think.
Fair.
No.
you're older than that.
No.
You experienced more of
More of history.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah, I've been around for most of it, haven't I? Let's face it. I can remember when Margaret Thatcher came to power.
I've heard she existed.
Just looking. You get a bit of extra red in there. Okay, so some of these darks are going to mix on the surface. I'm going to get a few extra bits of reds into here. I'm saying only about lumps and threats of lumps. Okay, that was fiddling. There's this sort of light that comes from there. I don't want to fuss too much about that's not what I want. About edges or details just yet. I've done that hand wrong. That's going to have to change. So I'll go back to making it all darks and I'll put the lights back in over the top later. Yeah, that'll do it. Or will it? No, made his fingers too short. I hate all of that. I'm getting rid of it. It's time for a second glove. Yeah,
Hey,
it's spatula time.
spatula.
That needs a theme tune. It's spatula time.
Do 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 do.
There you go. Thanks.
Flip that one.
Yeah. Are you pitching for like a permanent job here? Because it's not working.
Oh, sorry.
You have to do better than that. There's a lot of people want to write the jingles for this
I'll try and upgrade my voice next time.
famously underappreciated live stream.
It's not my specialty, jingle writing.
No, but at least make an effort. I mean, what was that even?
No, I have no idea.
Right.
Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
That's not getting
Nope.
better, is it?
No, it's getting worse.
Right. Okay, now you're smiling. That's ruining everything.
Stop smiling.
You don't want a smiling portrait.
No.
It's nice with a snapshot like from a day at the beach,
Mm.
but in a portrait, it's just creepy. Just a strange thing about it.
Technically, there's position opening up, isn't there?
Oh yeah, there is. Yes. Is it common knowledge now that you're moving on to pastures new?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, after a certain amount of time under my expert tutelage, Graham has started to be offered jobs and get headhunted. So you're welcome. I'm glad that
Thank you. Yeah,
this led to something better for you.
Yeah, I haven't fully thanked you. Thank you, God, for goodness, James. Do you have any shoes that need cleaning?
Yeah, not that they'd admit that they're poaching you from me. I haven't even acknowledged that, have they? Graham has got a job in Uganda.
Off by the end of the year.
Oh, right. Oh, it's December now. I thought it was January.
Yeah, I think they pulled it forward. So still haven't had the flights through yet.
Yeah.
But the last time I spoke to them, they said, 27th of December, you can leave then, can't you?
Oh, crikey.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. Obviously, sorry to lose you. I hope it goes really badly and you have to come back again. But other than that, good luck. Okay, time for a little pause. Well, I've got the spatula on. I'm going to make everything vague again. Okay. I'm going to have to mix some more colours. And I'm going to have to reorganise the palette as it is. This was that sort of core flesh tone. This orangey colour can get a lot more orangey, so put a load more yellow into that. A load of the cadmium yellow and a bit more red. Yeah, I can get a lot more orange. See what we can get away with there. And what else? A little bit more yellow. That'll do it. Need a bigger brush. This one. Let's put some of that light on. Is that too light?
Just looking, James, there is a way that I could do it from overseas.
Right. Right.
So I think we should do that again.
I think that would be a lot of fun.
That would be amazing. Can I just say, can you remind me to ask you about Saturday?
Saturday.
Yeah, just say that later.
Okay. Wouldn't know if that means. Is it time for a short break, do you think?
Well,
Shall I-
that's 10 so it
Right.
could be a good time.
Let's get some other colours on there. Things I've got. I'll put to one side. The ones I've mixed are sort of behaving themselves.
Oh, Josie's on, brilliant.
Hey.
Ooh, a portrait. What's a treat?
Yes. Right, okay, that's all. All those darks are a bit confused. I'll just mash them all up together. It'll look the same on the palette now anyway. So yeah, these are just reference colours now. I'll put that up there. Light, medium, dark. Sort of what this is built with already. Now this is interesting. We have, I'll start off with a light one. I've got some cobalt blue hue here. I don't know what it's made out of, but I'm mixing a dull blue for Ethan's jumper. So I don't have to worry about that being sort of a high quality, as long as they're fairly permanent, which blues tend to be. That's pretty good colours. It's duller than that even. Make a bit more grey. Don't really need that blue, did I? Right, got some brown here. Add blue to it until it's blue enough. That feels about right for the hue of the jumper. Right, okay. I'm going to put out some more burnt sienna. That's not it. That's not it. That isn't it either. Is it this one? What's that say? Does that say raw umber?
Raw umber, yeah.
Well, that's not it. Here we are, got it. Yeah, so try and keep these colours warm and rosy and pleasant. Just show my warm, rosy feelings towards you, Ethan.
Thank you very much.
Graham's picture was very cold and harsh.
Mm. I'll try and reflect some warm and rosy back.
Good stuff. I'm going to keep this blue here as a mixing colour. So if I need to make something bluer, it should relate. But I'll make some more of this jumper colour. This time I'm going to make it darker. It's too much brown. That's probably enough of that. This is going to have lumps in it now. Good black though, put that there. And make it a bit greyer. Too dark. There we go. That's okay. I'll put a bit more of that cobalt blue out. Make a lighter version of it as well. I almost need two lighter versions of it because I've got this warm light from the side, an accent light coming from over here. So see if that's necessary. A bit bluer. Yeah, that'll do it. And if we take some of this, some of this unbleached titanium. That's pretty good, actually. Quite happy with those. I was going to get this blocked in with big brushes. And I might find some little details later on. There we go. Use a tiny little bit of oil just to make it move around a bit more than that. There you are. I'm just going to scrub that in very thinly. So up here, that's bluer. These big shapes are going to behave themselves, hopefully. Okay, where else? A little bit in here. Could even use a bit of thinners with this actually, but to begin with, you know what, I'm going to do the lights on the hand again, so I'm not going to fuss about that too much. I'm finding my way into some of those shapes, and I might put some of the darks in before I before I worry too much about anything else. It's going to be some of this here. Directionality. Work away from here, and then it will give me this sort of these structures, hopefully kind of on its own. And keep it sketchy, keep it simple. Oh, again, same thing here. Make that. If I do this right, I can really it should come from underneath and go upwards. There we go. How are you feeling, Ethan? Comfortable?
Comfortable, relaxed.
Good. Sort of chilled into it a bit, haven't you?
Mm. In a meditative trance. Not quite.
What trance, sorry?
Meditative.
Try that again.
I think that's enough. Enough attempts. Quite a tongue twister,
You
that.
said it fine.
It is quite a tongue twist.
It is, yeah.
T's aren't my forte.
I didn't notice I didn't attempt it myself.
Mm. It's a tough one. Oh, they're with specifically.
Okay, I like the extra blue in this shadow. It's quite fun. There's still room for some extra darks in here. I'll jot a few in, especially in here and here. Yeah, sort of making up a few creases here and there, but it's enough to do the job. What else? A bit in there, a bit of extra dark in there, a bit of extra dark around under the elbow. I'll do it, I'll do it. Okay, now I'm definitely over fussing. Get this lighter one in a few places. That's going to go there. And here. It can come from above and work its way in. Somebody in there, like that, and that. And that'll be enough for there. At the top of the arm. So yeah, there's a sort of a natural blending quality to oil paint that I can use. One of the reasons I quite like doing drapery in clothes. It's because paint does lend itself to it, oil paint especially, rather nicely. So you can express all these forms without having to go into sort of careful controlled detail. You can just splash them on like that. Is that enough, like a jumper now? Okay, I'm going to get some of that orange now. This is going to seem really weird. I'm going to mix it with the blue that's on the brush. Put some of those colours in here. And it might look weird now, but it is going to look orange. Or like there's blue with orange light on it later on. Weirdly, one little bit of flesh tone just sneaking in from the other side. Let's go back to the orange. Let's just put a bit on the neck there. There we go. Nice. Back to the blue. Between the two. Here. Here. There we are. Well, it's about that time of the night where I go out and ask the guy outside once more if he can just turn his engine off. It's always good fun. There we are. Yeah, probably a good time for a little pause now. 8:05. Cool. We'll give it 5 minutes, make a cup of tea, and yeah, come back to this. Have a little stretch if you like.
Something pop. I couldn't define half the words, even though I sort of understand them.
But yeah, I think there's we were just talking about visual language. I think there's a there's a sort of a willful dismissal of even the idea of visual language amongst a lot of our culture. Not really from any individual, but this idea that it might be the best way to tell a story under some circumstances seems odd to a lot of people. Right, I'm not going to do any more with that. This is also the colour of the picture frame. Let's get that in. Yeah, use the same shadows as well. Nice. Do for that. Thinking a little bit about this sofa cushions. How much of that do I want to? Break that a little bit. I'm going to use this dark for lots of these spaces just so that it's create a coherent bit of painting. A bit of oil. Let's make that go a bit further. A bit of this extra blue here. Put some of that into the light. Just have a bit of the light on the top of the leg. And here. A bit lighter than that even. Okay, and right. From here, I also do for the inside of this picture in places. Should be steeper. Something like that. Is that too? Okay, some of this into here. Great. Make a larger version. The front edge of that frame. Maybe just the front edge of this one here. Smashing. Okay, I really need to kind of start getting stuck into this yeah, a bit of oil in that to really make this move around a bit. I feel like that's too light at the moment, but I guess we'll see. This is where it's going to be lightest anyway. I think the picture on the wall is going to be a really useful little compositional device. I want to make the most of that. Mix some more of that light colour. I'm going to need quite a lot more of that actually. Just leave a little gap to be the shadow there. See if we can get away with it. And get back to the business of actually doing a portrait, which was the whole idea of this in the first place. Right. Yeah. So I've got my portrait colours here. I've got a bit more context with the blue with some of this background. I'm going to have quite a lot more of that. A bit of white in that. Get a whole blob of oil on it. Make that go a bit further. It's a very slight pinkiness. Chuck some of this on. At this point I could feel like I've got loads to do and start rushing, but I don't think that would help. As long as I've got this colour on the palette.
Steve has messaged on YouTube and he said, read Early English Kingery. He recommends the series The Last Kingdom. Originally it was BBC, but now Netflix, for an accurate-ish historical timeline. Plus awful violence, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, they were known for that. I think a lot of historians get into their subject because of a fascination with the awful things people did to each other. That might be enough of that. Yeah, I thought The Last Kingdom was about Vikings, but I guess that's all sort of entwined as well.
think it's pre-Vikings arriving in
Oh, right, okay.
the UK. In English.
Oh, that's worth a notice then. Now, I'm reusing some other colours. So up here, I've got these colours that are in this painting, which I can also so I'm basically using this skin colour for the background on this painting. I'm going to use this orange for the orange. One slightly brighter one. So. Come back to that. Back to this peachy colour. Bit of that on there. Da-da-da. Right. Before I get too carried away with that, while I got this on the brush, I already hinted at a bit of this. I don't think that's the colour I want. I think that's too strong. So I think I can get some of this brown and make an orangey version of it. See if that does it. That's better. Suitably darker. Let's mix that in. You can even read a version of this brown. I'm still working with fairly big shapes here. I'm starting to see other things. There's some red there. Oh, it's getting shiny now. I'm having trouble seeing it. Where else is there some red? We'll stay on the dark side of things and just go redder. Where else? Here. Here. Okay. Peach here. Shape there. So yeah, head's turned a bit even, but don't worry too much about it right now.
Which direction has it gone?
It's turned towards me a bit,
Yeah.
but I think you were looking at the book before. Okay. Put some extra red underneath the brow there. Get some of that dark and put some more red into that. I can start to find this shape in the chin. Darken that a bit pinker. Still using a fairly big brush for this. No, not dark enough. Make a really dense purple, see if that'll do it. Can always pull some more lights out of here. There is enough paint on that I can start to sort of blend some things out a bit. Let's start in the corner of the mouth there. Now, does that do the mark I want it to make? I think it does. Where else can I see that? Look in here. Put it under there. Okay, before I get too carried away, I'm going to look back at the hands. Let's make a few more of those slightly abstract shapes. If we can just hint enough of what's going on. I keep doing effectively what are lines, and I know that's not going to help. Right, let's get into some slightly smaller brushes. You know what? Time for a few slightly newer ones. Okay, let's get into these lights. So I'm going to take this original colour. I'm going to go one lighter with it. Doesn't want to go yellow, I don't think so. I think that's enough. I can start to put in this here. This here. There are other lights I'm seeing, but they've got slightly different colour qualities, so I'm going to hang fire on those. I've got that one. There's one here. There's one there. Stop, look, think about it. That's pinker. A little bit pink. There's a pink. Hey, that worked. Let's go lighter and pinker. Let's get that bridge of the nose, which is there. It goes into that outline. There's the tip of the nose, which is here. I didn't prepare enough for that. Okay. We'll stick with the lights while I'm still doing them. There's this here. There's a redder one underneath, but we'll come back to that. This here. What else is there? Okay. And there's a philtrum. Now I'm going to get into the pinks again. We've got some pink in here. So it blends into that. I'll put a nose back over the top afterwards. There's a bit of red there. Yes, there was a bit under here. Maybe that needed to be somewhere in between. Maybe about there. Maybe. Okay, now there's this sort of greyish colour. And that's going to give us the shape of the tip of the nose. And then there's this little highlight on the end. Do I have to clean the brush before I do that, or can I do it with this? Okay, oh, it's just slightly more purpley. And I can go to this highlight, which is across here. Which is really going to define the brow. That's more like the colour we needed for the tip of the nose. It will be the colour for the highlight on the lip as well. It's a little bit on the eyelid, a little dash underneath as well. Where else? Where else? Okay, let's go back. Go back a little bit. Have I got enough information to put the knuckles in where they are? No. Yeah, I'll use the same brush, go to the knuckles now. And I'm going to use a little bit of oil. They've already been sort of spatulaed. I'll start with sort of the medium lights. I'll put brighter lights on afterwards. Okay. We're going to have a shape like that. What else goes with it? The shape that comes out there like that. Another one there. Nah, right, let me go into the proper lights now. No, it's not playing. What about here? Sometimes something like a hand is working and it doesn't feel like it's working. There's an extra light, and it's an extra cooler light. It's going to go here. Yeah, there's an intermediate one that needs to go on there. Yeah, I need another brush. I can use a slightly stiffer, grubbier brush for this. There we go. It's going to give us this sort of this red. It's going to sit in the gaps. It's going to go in there. We go under there and here. There's not enough of it now. There we go. Needs to go in there. Then it's grayer. Oh, this is tricky. Good thing about talking about this out loud is that the sitter knows what bit you're painting.
Can be helpful.
Used to get so much brighter in places. Okay, I don't want to overdo it. This should give me some feeling for something here. Yeah, okay. Still got this blue here. Re-establish that curve of that knuckle. And you go back into this black, very bluey black. And pull out a few of these shapes there. And there. Is that enough of a hand? Oh yeah, there's another brighter bit I was going to come back to. There's a lot keeping your place here. There's a bit. Top of the arm. Lines, keep making lines. Break up the lines. No, that's a hand. That's it. Let's go back to some of this background blue colour and put that where I should have done in the first place because it's the space behind. Great, got it. Okay, let's go back to, put those down again. Let's go back to the face. Where was I? There we are. There's this purpley colour here, so you can darken. Pull that in a bit. It's a slightly softer edge. Put your lovely eyelashes in. Here's the last bit. It's very tempting to sort of think about local colour when it comes to things like lips and stuff like that. But actually there is an element of it here. There is a sort of a pinkness which is distinct from the other colours of the face. Sometimes you think you can see it and you can't see it at all, but I'm really looking here and it's there, but it's not going to be a complete lip. It's just a bit of a smudge where that colour goes. And then here underneath. Now what I'm going to need is a shadow and a highlight. I'm going to do the highlight first, and it's going to be that bluey light that I was using earlier. Okay, and then a shadow underneath it, which is going to be almost like this bluey black colour. Yeah. From that corner of the mouth. Back to my highlight again. Establish that. Pop a little bit in there. A little bit on the chin here. Oh. Okay, there's a few other little things that are really going to finish this off. Some of this is really more about how someone feels to you as a, you know, their sort of presence. It's got more in common with a caricature than it has with the, yeah, sort of a photographic portrait. There's certain things which are very Ethan, which I'm trying to pick up on and really communicate the Ethanness of them, rather than just be, you know, do sort of verbatim copy of what someone looks like.
I'm intrigued now.
Now, if I move around here, room for some darks now. Let's get some of that red, some of this black. And there's going to be a bit of extra dark under there. Right, I've got the nose wrong there. Not in a way that's very noticeable. Just where that dark mark is, it's further in. Where that's not quite right. Ah! Oh, that made everything worse. Yeah, back to my reds. So I know what colours I was using. I can kind of fix that up now. In a small way. Imagine some of those lights. There we go. That look more Ethan now. I think it does. What I haven't got is the colour of the sofa. And when that goes in, that will make a lot more sense. That I think will be one of the last things I do. Back to this dark. I'm going to refine that edge there. That dark space was important, like I said so at the beginning, as is this one here. If I go right back into these darks, I can put a few break up some of that. Now I'm going to get some of this light colour. Keep that dark on the brush. Try and hint at some of these sort of shapes in the hair. Right, that's already too much. Okay.
Chime for chord 2, by the way.
Thank you. A few blues here. There's this parting sneaking in there. Break up some of those marks. Yeah, there's a real temptation to sort of overdo it, but I think that's pretty much enough of that. If I go right back into these darks, then I can start to refine. The head angle is changing slightly as we go along, but that's okay. I can start to refine. Just with a few little wisps of hair. Yeah, sort of a head and neck angle. I think that's probably enough.
Which way's it gone this time?
How what?
Which way's the head and neck angle gone this time?
That's okay. There's a point where there's sort of a familiarity with what you're looking at. You don't really want to change it. You're seeing a new thing and you're thinking, oh, that might make it better, but would it? You know? Because also this is quite a small head to be painting, not in a literal way. Well, literalness aside. It's a small area of canvas to be fitting your head onto.
My head has a bad habit of tilting right for some unknown reason.
Okay.
It does that over time slowly.
We've all got our idiosyncrasies. Yeah, so there's quite a common thing that I think most portrait painters experience, which obviously people want to give the best account of themselves, and so they sit up very straight with their long neck, and then over a period of about half an hour, they gradually slump without realizing it. And if you're not careful, you don't realize it either. And yeah, you end up with this sort of folded up person on your canvas, and you don't quite know how it got there. I'm using up a bit of old colour here.
Well, I've got extra neck length as well, which doesn't help.
You do have a long neck. This is
incredibly long neck.
Although a lot of that's down to your collarbones. But there's I'm sure someone will know the name of them. There's a tribe of people in Africa that
use the
ladies
rings,
put rings on their necks, and it looks like their necks are getting longer and longer. But actually, what it's doing is pushing down their collarbones. So it's not like, you know, if you X-rayed their necks, it's still one vertebrae after another. They haven't created a gap, which is good, really, because that would probably end badly.
Wouldn't be very good.
No. Okay, I'm just going to use up some of the paint I've got here to make some sofa colours. I'm going to use the same brushes I've already got going as well. Don't need to do much with that. I already put that colour in here, so that's vindicated me. A few hints of this. That can go in there. That doesn't need to change.
Michelle Perkins has just said hello.
Oh, hi, Michelle. Glad you could find your way along. Yeah, portrait, bit different. I'd like to get back to do more portraits actually. But... Okay, there's a bit more warmth going in this. So I'm just borrowing from the paints I already have on the surface. And it needs to get a bit lighter as well. So if I put my shadows in first. I haven't done the book yet either, that will come too. Right. So what's I doing? Oh, yeah. So when it comes down to this sofa, I'm going to have a few colours. I'm going to have a lighter version of this, which I will put here. I'll just put some titanium white in it and see what that does. And I'll have a darker version as well, which has got some of this orange in it. There's a lot of reflection from it's putting me off every time. There's double yellow lines out there. He thinks this is car park. It really irritates me. I know it shouldn't. Should find a way of ignoring it and letting it go. Right, let's get some of that orange. Right, that'll do as a colour. You know what, I'm just going to, yeah, bit of palette knife. Get some of that orange on there, and that's sort of telling us something about the accent light. That's enough. I don't need any more than that. The actual light colour, which is here, is going to come along that edge and give us an edge there as well. But it should be a little bit linen-y. And that's going to carry on over here as well. Yeah. Could put a bit of oil in that, make it go further, but this is okay as it is, I think. And I want to use it to establish some of these edges. I can work away from them. Yeah, that'll do for that. Scrub it in. Okay, here we are. There's an edge. Comes across into here. Smashing. Let's make a brighter version of this light. Create that edge there. I'm going to work against that. Really brighten it up around the edges. That's fine. Okay, got the pages of the book. Put a bit more light into that. Starts here. And comes to a sort of an edge there. That's suitably book-like. Right. There's an edge to the book here. And that'll do. For that bit of oil. Pick up the rest of that orange. Put it up over here. That'll create that change. Some in that shadow as well. That'll do for that. Oh, and I've got my little painting up here. Let's put a bit of that in. Oh, you know what? I'll put some more of that light into that blue. More light than that even. There we are. couple of darks. I'm going to go too dark with this. But we can sort of introduce a few little bits and pieces. Especially underneath there. And maybe a bit of bright orange right at the end. It's a lot yellower actually. Maybe I'll do it. And sneak a little bit of that to just identifying that finger. Bit in there. Anywhere else? A few extra little highlights. Re-establish that cheekbone. Very highlights. If I fiddle with that, is it going to make it worse? I think I'm at the stop fiddling stage, aren't I? I think I am. A couple of the knuckles. Do it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and stop there. I'm sure there's something obvious I've forgotten, but not think for a second what it might be. No, I think that'll probably do it, don't you? Just abandon all my brushes on the palette. I need to sign it. No. Let's sign it with, I think that blue seems to be an appropriate colour. Woohoo! Thank you, Ethan. That's great.
Oh.
Yeah, grab the phone and do the phone count.
Sure. Okay, here's from where I am. There's Ethan. You could see all the way through. Now, I don't know about the shine. I got rid of the shine. There's the shine. I could see a lot of shine. So, there's the face. And then there's the hands. I fussed over. It's weird because it looks like his one hand's much bigger than the others, but it really is what it looked like. It's just the change in angle. And the little picture at the top. There's my picture on the wall over there, which I thought I'd include because it gives some structure and the sense that I'm looking down. Tells you how close you are to him. Makes him feel familiar. And that orange on the side of the sofa, I could do a bit more to spread that in actually. Or I could leave it. I'll leave it. Why don't I just leave it? Why don't I just leave it alone, Graham? There you are. So, there you are. That's one for the thumbnail. Thank you very much, everyone. And that was a lot of fun to do. And thank you, Ethan, for being such a patient and still sitter.
You're very welcome.
Uh,
A little bit of a struggle towards the end there.
I think you did very well. And yeah, is that it? Is that
Yeah,
all
that's cool.
That's good. Good stuff. Super. Thank you very much. And yeah, see you next week for something new and exciting.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, thanks for coming along.